Alright, I don't usually post videos like this, but a lot of you guys asked what's done to the car, so I figured I would show you. Today I'm in Durham's garage. Two of the fastest 540s in Connecticut. Here's Durham's car. He's going on a 6870 replica, big boost kit, X-Drive, with a tire. Today on my car, we're doing plugging the head ports by Vader Solutions. Comes with the tool, some thread lock, and then all the plugs. So right now we're just taking everything apart. We got to take off the manifold, the valve cover, everything that's on the valve cover, charge pipes, and some other little stuff. Right now we're about to take off the fuel lines and the injectors. Also gonna be doing some maintenance, replacing another line with some billet ends and some heat wrap on it. And then I got some valve cover gaskets, inner and outer, and a high pressure fuel pump gasket in here somewhere. Alright, since the last clip, we got the TU pump, the fuel lines, the first set of injectors out. We're about to get the second set of injectors out, and then all the valve cover bolts and the manifold bolts are loose. I'm taking out the last bolt on the throttle body down at the bottom under here, and then we're going to go ahead and pull it off. We also took off the top brace, the wipers, the rest of the cowl covers, and some of the miscellaneous bolts and wires that were hanging over the valve cover. Alright, Durham's taking out the second rail of injectors now.
Yeah.
Alright, so I was just looking in the cylinders, as you guys can see, and it looks like number 3 has a little bit of a leaf, and what seems to be maybe even a bead down in there. So we're going to go ahead and get the vacuum, clean all this out, then we're going to get the valve cover off, clean it up, and then get the plugs in. Valve cover's coming off, everything's nice and open. Alright, manifold's off. Alright, now that the manifold and the valve cover are off, we're going to go ahead and plug the cylinder walls with some shop rags so we can go ahead and start putting the head ports in. Alright, as you guys can see, all the cylinder walls are plugged with shop rags. I'm going to go ahead and try to explain it. This is what we're porting. We're going to go ahead and make threads in here, and then one plug will go here, one plug will go here. That way it doesn't lift the valve cover, or we get any oil shooting into the cylinder walls or causing a mess. And then the other thing is on the top side of this, on the valve cover, it protects the check valves by plugging these as well. So these two for these two, these center ones are for these two, and then the last two are for 5 and 6. So we're going to go ahead and do 2, 4, and 6, and then clean everything up. I just took all the gaskets off the valve cover. As you can see, it's a little milky from my oil cap breather. All the gaskets are off. Go ahead and put the new gaskets on. Alright, and we're using some grease. That way when we go to tap the holes, all the metal shavings get stuck to the grease. And what doesn't get on the grease is hitting the shop rags. Then when we pull them out and vacuum, everything will be fine. And we also went ahead and plugged where the injectors go. That way when we take it out, no metal shavings get into this side of the motor. As you guys can see, Durham's working on the first side now. I did forget to mention, we also pulled the DME out and the DME bracket. That way, when we went to take the manifold off, we were able to lean it over to get these hoses off. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start getting these plugs in. And then instead of using the blue Loctite, we're going to use the red because it's a little bit stronger. And then a lot of people were asking about the kit. It's by Vader Solutions. You can buy the kit on their website. And then this is a 1/4 by 20 tool. As you can see, still got a little bit of the grease on there. But we're going to go ahead and start threading those in there. And I'll update you guys after. Alright, so what we're using is a 3mm Allen key. As you can see, got the plug right on the top. And a 3-inch extension. These are both 1/4 inch. When we go ahead and put them in, we are not going to put them too tight, as it won't really bottom out because of the way the threads are. And also it is important to mention, the Loctite is the most important, because if you don't put Loctite and you keep trying to tighten them, they will just go to the other side of the motor. So having the Loctite on them stops them from doing that and will keep them in place. Alright, I'm going to try and show you guys. 2 there, 2 in there, and 2 in there. All the head ports are now plugged, so we're going to go ahead and replace this line right here that goes from the flange. As you guys can see, I have the billet coolant flange and the billet oil filter housing. So I got a line with a billet end here and then it runs all the way to the radiator down here into this tri-connector right here. That piece is also billet, and I heat wrapped it with some strong heat tape. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this, add some of our additives, and then start putting everything back together with the brand new gaskets. We're gonna go ahead and clean this. I also went ahead and wiped the whole valve cover underneath the valve cover off. So now we're gonna go ahead and put everything back together. All right, and for the additives, I have hydraulic lifter additive, radiator cleaner, and anti-friction. These are all liquid moly. All right, now we're taking off this coolant line. We just took off this one that goes to the radiator. As you can see, it's starting to drip a little. Derm's getting the top part of this hose off. Then we're gonna pull it from the flange and replace it with the new one.
A little bit, push it.
All right.
Push it, no, push it on. Yeah, just to like seal it.
Yep.
Kind of. Where's...
Quick transfer. Fuck this plastic OEM bullshit. All right, after a little bit of persuasion and a little loss of coolant, OEM hose is out. And the new one is in with the billet ends right onto the flange and the heat tape. As you can see, it's nice and stiff in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the manifold and everything else back on. Go ahead and pull out the shop rags from where the injectors go and the cylinder walls. Wipe everything off again, check it, and then put everything back together. We also did have to take this shield off, the radiator cover, and you guys can see my bigger heat exchanger here. You can see the size difference. All right, and another big thing to mention is make sure before you guys do anything, you disconnect the battery. We just took the negative side off, but once you disconnect the battery, you'll be all set. But I do recommend that's the first thing you guys do if you were to take the DME out or if you're gonna do a job like this on the car. And I also tied a quick shop rag to the latch right here. That way, since it's windy and we got the garage open, if it was to close, it wouldn't shut and then we're locked out of the car. Make sure you guys do that. All right, we're about to put the manifold back on. As you can see, all the wires are back in, everything else is to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and put the new gaskets on the valve cover and then clean off the injectors and the TU pump, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it all back installed. All right, manifold's back on, charge pipe, throttle body spacer, throttle body, radiator and heat exchanger cover, and the valve cover is all back on. We're gonna go ahead and tighten everything, clean it up, tuck some wires under the manifold, make it look a little cleaner. Update you guys after we do that. All right, everything is almost done. All the wires are tucked under the manifold now instead of over. Dump tube is gonna go back. The DME is all done with the bracket. Just gonna go ahead and put the harness for the coil packs, the injectors, and the TU pump back in, and we'll be all set. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the hydraulic lifter additive. This will help with injector noise and help protect some of the stuff in the motor. And we're also bleeding the coolant system, making sure there's no leaks under the manifold or the car. And now here's the first startup on the car after we finished everything, making sure everything looks good and making sure everything's tight and no leaks at all. All right, and just like that, the whole job is done. Everything is back together. I'm gonna go ahead and go for a drive and I'll let you guys know how it goes. All right, after driving the car for about an hour last night and this morning on my way to work and looking at the logs, the car's definitely making more boost. It feels so insane and it's definitely running a little bit smoother. If you guys want to see any more videos like this where I go in depth, make sure to comment down below.